Before starting the video, I want you to remember the value for the loss because I will talk about it later. So it seems like it's been a while since I posted the last video and I didn't make huge progresses but rather made a bunch of tiny progresses. And as always, I really didn't touch on graphic side like improving the quality. Although I fixed some trivial stuff, which I'll talk about it later. So these are the list of stuff I've done in the past few weeks. So first of all, I encourage agent to visit new positions. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he moves more often than before. In previous videos, positions he hasn't he visit he visits to positions he hasn't been before. Essentially, he is not in static, or rather, yeah, he is moving around. So how did I do that? I created vector called visited positions in each frame, where in each frame I store agent's current position, and in each frame I compare current position and stored positions. And if I not able to find current positions inside this vector, I stored the current position to this vector and give him 50 points reward. Seems pretty absurd, but this is the only reason he is moving more regularly. The reason I'm pretty certain is that, by the way, I log more stuff. So back to this loss. So I don't know if you guys remember, but the loss was like, I don't know if I also don't remember precisely, but it was like around 5,000 to 10,000. But as you can see, it's much smaller. So meaning the loss has been decreasing, which means the neural network is working. And I guess this is the reason. So this is the action he's taking in each frame, and yeah, he chooses action 1 and 2 more frequently than other actions, and action 1 and 2 corresponds to walk and run. And yeah, so I mean, based on this loss, I think the neural network is working. I haven't really checked on the value for the loss because I was always scared of neural network not working, but I guess it's working. And the reason I encourage him to move more regularly is that I want him to collide with other cubes, like this red cube, which is supposed to be a food, and this blue cube, which was supposed to be a water. So yeah, and also I've changed, I made each cube smaller so that it would be 1 by 1 by 1, which is pretty standard size used in Unity and Unreal Engine. So relative to this floor, cubes are pretty small, so that's why, yeah, the cubes look smaller relative to the floor, because I didn't change size of the floor. But yeah, so like I said, I log more stuff. In reinforcement learning, the concept episode is pretty common, each episode could be ended with some conditions, like the agent has achieved some goals or killed by some monsters. I haven't set these conditions yet, but I'm pretty sure I'll use this episode. So yeah, for now it would be one for most of the time. And so yeah, I've added more states. These are all the states. So I think I don't know how much states I'd had in previous videos. Well, I'm sure. So there were states called fatigue in previous videos that I changed to energy because this makes more sense, I guess. And weight, and these are time, which just measure how much has passed since I ran this program. I think I'll reduce to just time of day and either of these because I don't really need. Yeah, and if this become 0.5, which means 12 p.m., it would range between 0 to 1. 1 means 24. Yeah, it's 24 p.m. I mean, 12 a.m. And this is how much money he owns because I'm planning to make him own some kind of cash, and unless he has some kind of cash he won't be able to buy food and he would just die. I haven't really implemented, so yeah. And also I added temperature and weather, which I also haven't used them yet, but definitely use these states as well. And yeah, and I also in each frame I increment the reward because in each frame or whenever step function is called, I mean, I think step function is called in each frame. So in each frame he would gain some kind of reward. So, and yeah, I I add to this total reward variable, which is in this main function. And I also, so yeah, so I added sleep action, and whenever he sleep, he gain energy like human does. And I also hide his eyes, but maybe I'll change to, I will change so that, whenever he chose this action, I would just make eyes horizontally long instead, but I'm not really sure. And next I changed size for the biases. By the way, this hidden 1-2 dimensions are 32, but before it was like this, and which is incorrect. It should be like this. So, and I was trying to find way to get away with biases, but yeah, if you do research on biases. You just can't get away with biases. There are several reasons you should use biases. So, and after I fixed the size for biases, uh, yeah, before I had these sizes, I'd had NAN for loss, but after after I fixed it, I'm no longer getting NAN for the loss, which is pretty good. So this step function returns done, and I only set it so that whenever his life reached 0, which never happens for now, but anyways, this step function returns done, and if it's true, I increment the episode. So if it was 1, it would become 2, and the episode would become 2, and I reset the state and the total reward. I didn't have this, so yeah. If you don't do this, I won't be able to get, you know, everything. The reason, the reason things all the things I'm doing. The reason for everything I'm doing this is to get, update the weights to get best weights so that he would behave well because of the weights. And if I don't have this, I would not be able to update weights healthy, I guess. So, and in collision function, whenever he collides with food, I just remove the food and water cubes and respawn in different positions. Actually, I haven't really seen he has collided with either of these cubes, so but I'm sure this would work. And only I just need to add more food and water cubes to test if this is gonna work. But yeah, I'm sure it would work. So yeah, I changed. So yeah, and before I was. So this is the hunger and thirst. Before I was decrementing these states, but I just realized these are states should be incremented. Like, you know, it's really common. Like, yeah, it was just my fault. And yeah, it's pretty realistic, I guess. And if he's if he chose idle action when thirst is less than I mean thirst is larger than 0.4, I will give him negative reward. And also for hunger, I'm not really sure if, like, I've never left. I've never left running program that long yet, so it's just it's been pretty. I've been pretty busy with implementing, a bunch of concepts and stuff like I've shown you guys. So I haven't really tested these, but yeah, and also it's just I've added a bunch of conditions to you know analyze if he has chosen an actions that are not appropriate for states he's in. Yeah, this is also one of the reason, one of the way to encourage him to walk and run. I just give him 50 points if he chose walk and run. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, if the energy is bigger than zero point 0.5 and chose sleep action, he would get negative reward. Yeah, this is also adhering to the reality. You shouldn't be sleeping unless you're really tired. I don't know. This is for now. It's just I've been just testing. It would be more concrete. Yeah, for now it's pretty rough. But the config file, um, I added. It's pretty trivial stuff, but I added uh, in TensorFlow or PyTorch, you'd have JSON or YAML file which you'd parse, and in this file you'd have these parameters like size of neural network, epsilon, which is used in my neural network. You decrement this epsilon in each frame by epsilon decay rate. And yeah, the reason I started, so it's pretty convenient because whenever I wanted to change the size of neural network, I could just change it here. And also the main reason I did this was I had this state dim variable both inside environment class and DQN class, and whenever I add new state I had to increment number of states in both files, which was pretty annoying. I knew I needed to refactor. So yeah, I guess it's really true. But yeah, now the code is much cleaner. So this is the final fix I'm gonna talk about in today's video, and which was previously I wouldn't be able to see the floor from underneath. Now I can see, but before I couldn't. And so the reason was it was set it so I was using cold back instead of cold noon, cold non. If I chose cold back, which means the DirectX won't render backside of the quad. So I changed to cold non. But after I did that, I was able to see the floor, but new issue came up, which was I was able to see through the bottom of the cube, and which was pretty annoying. So the only the way I fixed was that so before the floor was just simple quad, but now I changed to really thin box instead of quad. So the thickness is like 0.2. So before I was using these vertices and indices for floor, but now I only use for eyes for the agent, you know, the eyes for the agent. Those are quads, but for the floor, I'm just making them. I'm making like I make cubes. Floors. The floor is like cube, but really thin. So, yeah, I guess this is it for the progresses I've made in in the past few weeks. And by the next video, I hope he would collide with these food and able to survive. And yeah, it's like I come up with a bunch of ideas, but it's really hard to catch up with these ideas, by implementing them. And but yeah, I've been trying my best, I guess. And yeah, I think this is it for today's video, and thanks for sticking to the end of the video. And as always, thanks for all the supports. And yeah, I hope by the next videos, or the next video, I would make huge progresses. But talking is easy, so yeah, anyway, thanks.